I am so glad that you are here. I'm meeting you in my hot tunnel. It's been a couple of weeks since you guys have seen the garden, so I thought today we would walk through the garden, see how things are going. Also give you an update on the seedlings that you and I planted together just a couple of weeks ago. We need to water, we need to fertilize, and get all the things done. If you are new here, I'm so glad that you stopped by. I hope that you will subscribe to my channel, because we have a lot of fun around here, and it is a safe space if you want to learn how to garden, if you want to learn how to homestead. And if you're one of my faithful followers, thank you so much for being here. I'm in Tennessee in zone 7B, and so it is a beautiful day here in November. And the weather has been very, very mild, borderline warm. And so one of the things that I'll show you and talk about today is that the plants certainly think that they're confused on whether it's winter, fall, summer, spring. Like, they don't know, because it has literally been in the high 70s, low 80s in the daytime for the last 2 to 3 weeks. And it has been, the lows has been like low 60s. So it has not been really cool at all. But when I looked at the 10-day forecast, the cold temperatures are coming. So we're going to be moving after today into a high. The highs are going to be in the low 60s, and the lows are going to be upper 30s, mid 30s, somewhere along in there. So it's definitely going to be getting cooler according to the 10-day forecast. So today is a perfect day to kind of just do all the things before it gets really cold. They have not been fertilized in about a month, because I needed to do something with my backpack sprayer, but my husband got all that squared away. So we are going to fertilize today, and that'll be good. I'm not gonna say one last one, but one good one before the temperatures drop, and as we kind of go into the winter season. We will see if it's gonna stay warm or stay cold. Who knows with this weather? But the high today is like 65 degrees, and in the tunnel it's probably like 85, because it's kind of warm in here. It's not necessarily cool, but it feels pretty good outside. So the first thing I want to show you are the seedlings that you and I planted together a couple of weeks ago. And these seedlings have been, when I say neglected, like I have forgot to come down here and water, but seeds want to grow. They still growing. So let me show you. You can see here, and they need to be watered because they haven't been watered in a few days. But basically, this is our bok choy right here. You can see, let me see if I can get you a closer shot. You can see that it looks really, really good. My lettuce, only three out of the 8 germinated. So we're actually going to seed more lettuce today. And if I had to guess, it's just because it's probably been a little bit too warm and it wasn't in my house. With the temperatures fluctuating, if it's 80 degrees outside, it's easily 90 something in here. So that may be why they didn't germinate. I don't know. I'm not going to, put too much stock into it. We'll just seed some more. And then I have some broccoli that all of it germinated. So I got 8 broccoli that we did the last time. That's right here. My spinach has not germinated, and well, I have 2 spinaches that germinated out of 4. So that's 50%. And like I said, I didn't water the way I was supposed to. And remember, if you watch that video, remember I said I should probably take this in my house so that I will remember to water, because I'll see it every day. And in the fall, I just don't come down here every single day like I do in the summertime. So anyway, that's okay. We'll get more. And then our, what is this? Arugula. Look at that. Plenty of arugula. Looks good. And then our celery is just starting to germinate, which is, if you can see that, it's just starting to germinate, which is awesome. That just happened. So overall, for the amount of time and attention it got, it did well. We are going to plant or seed some more vegetables today. We are going to do a little bit more lettuce, and then we're going to do kale and collards, another succession of those. But first, let's get the hose pipe. Let's get everything watered. And then I'll show you around, and then we'll fertilize as well. Okay, y'all, change of plans, because apparently I don't have any water out here. My husband, it looks like, has taken my hose pipe for some of the project that's out in the garden where he was doing some concrete work. And yeah, I don't have my hose pipe, and my husband's not here. So we won't be watering today or fertilizing, because he went out of town to go help a friend, and he won't be back until later tonight. So no problem. And again, all of my stuff is on drip except the stuff that's in the containers, and nothing looks you know, horribly bad, like at all. I just like to water deeply once a week. So we'll just do that another day. And then I will fertilize another day as well before the temperatures drop. So let me just turn the camera around and show you how things are looking in the garden since it's been a couple of weeks. Overall, as I can see, things are looking pretty good. I don't see any major issues. A couple of insect, you know, things or whatever. But overall, I mean, I'm just scanning. I haven't looked at it intently. It looks pretty decent. Now, since the last time we were out of the garden, remember we uncovered everything and I gave you a tour like maybe a couple of weeks ago, and it's actually been uncovered since then. I never made it back out here to cover things up. So what we're going to see today is 2 weeks with it being uncovered. So let's see again. It looks like I still have plants, but let's see if we have too much insect damage or if there's a difference and all that. This is our bed of Brussels sprouts. I think the Brussels sprouts look so good and healthy. I'm not seeing a lot of damage or any damage really on these leaves. Like I see one little thing right there, but overall, not much at all. If you've never grown Brussels sprouts, they have a long maturity to harvest time. They can take about 120 days. So that's right around 4 months. And so I don't see any Brussels forming yet. The Brussels actually form at the bottom along the stem. So although the leaves look good and healthy and all that, at the end of the day, the Brussels are going to form below the leaves. And one thing that I'm going to try to do this year that I haven't done in the past is to pick off the lower leaves. So that when I've read that if you pick off the lower leaves, the Brussels will get bigger because the energy will go into forming the Brussels and making them bigger versus the leaves. And that's true with a couple of different plants of that kind. But I'm so happy with the Brussels. Is the best they've ever looked, and this is the most that I've ever had. So I'm looking forward to definitely having a good Brussels sprout harvest. And Brussels that you grow taste much different than those that are in the store. Now, I didn't grow up on Brussels sprouts at all. That seemed to be like for fancy rich people, and I was not neither of those. Now, I'm not saying that that's what it is, but it just wasn't in my neck of the woods, right? So I did not eat Brussels sprouts until I was an adult. And again, I love cabbage. It's very similar to cabbage. And when you roast them, they taste really, really good and sweet. So I'm excited to be able to have Brussels sprouts because we haven't had any. I haven't grown any in a couple of years. And even when I did, I only had like a handful. So if I have as much as these plants look like I'm going to have, that's going to be really, really good. This is the same bed. We put some cilantro here. It's growing nicely. And then we also have some spinach there that we did that's growing nicely. And then in between, I don't know if you can see, is where we did like our bunching onions and stuff, like in between, interplanted. And they look like they're doing pretty good for the most part. You can see that there. Okay, across from this bed is this bed right here, which is our lettuce and our kale. You can see that there, but I want to show you this. Y'all remember this right here? This is our container, and we put some lettuce starts in there that were looking like they were on their way out. But look at this container of lettuce now. If you've been here, you know. Now, I'll throw away something in a minute. Like if stuff starts looking bad in the garden, growing brown, rotten, I'll pull it out now. But I'm less likely to throw away something that is like a new seedling or a transplant that may be looking bad, that maybe has outgrown its pot and just needs to be planted. I'll go ahead and put that in the ground because what's the worst thing that can happen? You don't have anything. But if you don't plant it, you definitely won't have anything. And so this lettuce is a prime example. I want to say that's 4 lettuce plants, seedlings that I had that were outgrowing their pots. They looked bad. They looked wimpy, but we put them in here. And remember, I used that compost from my kitchen. So if you didn't see that, I did a video. I have a kitchen composter. It sits on top of my kitchen counter. It's electric. It is by Carfo, K-A-R-F-O. And there's a code for $100 off if you're interested in getting you a kitchen composter. Just go to the description box below this video below, and you can use my code and get $100 off. That kitchen composter, remember on that video, we just took our kitchen scraps, we pressed a button, in 4 hours we had compost. And this is the first place that we used the compost, was in this container right here with the lettuce. Y'all, it's doing its thing. It is growing so well. So again, that's just extra lettuce, right? It's just extra lettuce. I mean, a handful of seeds that turned into plants. You cannot get good lettuce like this in the store. Y'all, back up. Have y'all heard? Now, this may be like not true, but I've heard, and people have sent me videos, and I'm like, is this real? about lettuce out of plastic. Like they have made lettuce out of plastic, if I have that right. And somebody said, now this part is a true story. I digress, but you need to hear this. This is a true story. I was getting my hair done and my stylist was telling me that she bought a cabbage from the store and literally she cooked it for 3 hours and it would not get done. And she was like, what are they doing to our food? And I'm like, now cabbage only takes like 30 minutes and 45 if you want to just, cook the mess out of it. There's no way cabbage cannot be done in 3 hours. And she said that another one of her clients was going to make her some cabbage soup and told her the exact same thing, that her cabbage would not get done. Y'all better grow your own food. Grow your own food. So that way you know what is in your food and you know that it is fresh, it is nutrient dense, it is edible, and not in the store you may be eating plastic. Don't do that. Okay, I digress, but you need to hear that story. Okay, let me show you this bed. So in this bed, you can see that my cilantro is getting tall. And again, because of the weather, if I don't watch it, it's going to bolt. Now, I just did a harvest of this last week, and I actually have some in the freeze dryer right now. But obviously, I need to harvest more because I want to make sure that it does not bolt. Then we have our lettuces here. We have a red lettuce. And then my cilantro is just falling all over. Let's see. We have some more. Okay, that's a weed. We have some more lettuce there. And then on that side is where kale is. And I've picked this kale probably, I think 3 times already. And it's doing well. Okay, this bed here is doing well. This is our lettuce. And some of it, again, is getting tall, which means it's about to bolt and try to go to seed, and that's just because it has not been very warm. I mean, it has not been cold. So I need to harvest some more of this. And then these are cabbages. I see like a couple of spots of insect damage here and there, but y'all look, I have a zinnia trying to grow right there, a whole zinnia that has reseeded and trying to grow because the temperature has been warm. I got some insect damage over here, and I see like some cabbage eggs moths, so I need to spray this for sure because these right here definitely have been eaten. It's disappointing to see that I have some damage, but again, y'all, I've been busy and I just did not make it back down here to cover it up, so I'm not beating myself up about it. It is what it is. I was gonna do a spray, but again, I don't have any water. I did go ahead and spray it with some Captain Jacks, but that's not really ideally what I wanted to use. I wanted to use like a neem or a pyganic, but you have to mix that with water. And so I may go up to the house and mix that up and then try to come back down here later and spray it, but I'm not gonna stress about it. It is what it is. And sometimes you have to be like that in your garden. There's times when I'm just like vigilant and I'm on top of it, and there's other times I'm like, hey, I can only do so much. And so I'm in the space today like, hey, I'm doing the best that I can with what I have. And I'm going to pray over it. And again, I got some more cabbages out there. And it's interesting. The ones on the outer perimeter, like on the next to the edge of the raised bed, are the ones that are mostly insect bitten. The ones in the middle seem to be fine. We'll keep watching it and we'll see what happens. But it looks good. The leaves and stuff, it's just the inner part, of course, where it's going to form has some insect damage, but we'll see what happens. Right outside of the cabbage and lettuce bed is my lemon balm, and it has like just, you can see the size of the container it's in, which is not big, but it is overflowing and needs a bigger pot. And actually it is growing roots into the ground. I noticed that the other day. So I got to cut this back and harvest some more. Now let's look at this bed, which is the cauliflower. Overall, it is looking very, very good. No complaints on that. I looked, it's not forming any heads yet, but cauliflower again takes a long time to mature, about 110 days. So we still have a couple of months or so before we'll start seeing it being ready to harvest. Okay, this bed is probably the one that's the most bare, just because we harvested all of the remaining bok choy that was ready the last time we were out here. But you can see we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 bok choys growing right there in the front. In the back is still our rosemary and lavender. And then right here on the left hand side is arugula. We had cut that back and harvested quite a bit of that, and it's growing back, so that is good. But all of the vegetables that we have on the table that I just showed you at the beginning, most of them will go in here. But then also remember, these right here are the ones that was those seedlings that again looked raggedy, and we planted them in here 2 weeks ago, and they look good, looking good. They've greened up, they've got a little bit of leaves. I think these are cabbages as well. So again, it pays to have multiple successions and multiple seedlings. I picked me some lavender off of my plant. It smells so good. I'm gonna try to propagate this. So propagate, if you're new, because look, I didn't know. It's just when you take a plant, an existing plant, and you try to make another plant. I have never ever propagated before, but I bought this little propagation station from Amazon. And so I did one. I have one little vial that has one of my house plants in it, and then I'm going to try to do some lavender. Now, the house plant I did in water. I'm debating on whether I put this in water or soil, because lavender is drought tolerant. And it doesn't like a lot of water. I wonder, will it root if I put it in water? I don't know. Maybe we'll do an experiment. We'll see. I'll let you know. But if I can do some more lavender, that would be fantastic. But I want to get into like the propagation and all that stuff. So again, a little experiment. Y'all, when I see in the fall, I got time. I got time to try and play and experiment on some things. So that's what we're doing. That's what we're doing. Okay, let's go to the next bed. Okay, this bed is my carrots and radishes. And I had a little whole ant situation going on in here. The mound is not as big. I've hit it like three or four times. So I'm hoping the ants are gone, but I'm not going to dig it up today and find out. But the carrots seem to be doing overall pretty well. They're definitely growing. I don't see any crowning, meaning I don't see any carrots popping up. So they're not ready yet at all. And some of these are a little bit too close plants together. Remember, I did the pelleted seeds and I spaced them, but then I had some in here that I did not space and I forgot to come back and thin. That's why I don't like doing seeds that are not pelleted. But on the other side, I have radishes. Let's take a look over here. On the inside are radishes that I interplanted. And yes, they're definitely getting bigger. Let me see if I can take you off the tripod so you can see. But I've seen them bigger than this on the internet, so I don't know if they need to be even bigger. I think I'm gonna let them keep going. Okay, hopefully you guys can see this. This is a purple daikon radish. It's my first time growing it. Let's see if you can see this right here. Now that one looks pretty big right there, but I'm gonna keep it in the ground, see if it'll get bigger, because I've seen other people pull theirs out on the internet and them things are huge. I pulled some earlier about a month ago and they were tiny, but these are looking pretty big. That looks good. I know I keep saying on the internet because I saw somebody else growing these radishes last year. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna try that. Now I don't even like radishes, but you guys got me to try radishes last year. I can't remember what kind I did. I want to say I think it was red rover. It was a red radish. And you guys told me that if I roast it, it tastes better. Because the reason why I don't like radishes is because of that bite. I roasted it and I actually liked it. So that's the reason why I decided to venture out and try this one, which is a daikon radish, which is different and it gets bigger. Because I'm going to roast these and see what they taste like. That's what we're gonna do. If you've had it before, let me know, and let me know how big it's supposed to be. But I'm gonna let it go one more week. I just find that with the fall stuff, they all taste good, taste better and sweeter once it's some cold, sustained weather or frost or something. And so I'm gonna let them hang out and just get a little bit bigger because I don't want to do any harvesting today. I'm actually headed out of town tomorrow, and so I don't want to harvest anything because I don't want to have to deal with it when I go take it in my house. So that's the real reason why I'm not harvesting today. And I'm only gone for like 36 hours. So I will do all that when I come back, before or after it gets a little chill in the air and all of that good stuff. Now let me show you how the stuff in the ground is doing and talk about that. Y'all, it looks so good. So good. Collard, kale, bok choy. I really like this red board kale here. So this is red boar kale. I also grow one called winter boar, which is a green variety. I just like this because it gives some color, and I just like the way it looks. It's pretty, but it's the same. I mean, it's just kale, so it still tastes the same, but it has just a pretty backdrop with the red and purple, you know, things going on. So I think that looks really, really good. I think the bok choy is looking so good. This is my first time growing bok choy in the ground. I've always done it in a raised bed, but I had extra and no raised bed was open, so I put it in the ground. It's looking so good. Like, if I wanted to, I could harvest some of these, but I'm gonna let them get bigger just because I don't need it right now. But so good. And these right here at the front are cabbages, again, that we had on the table that it took me 2 months to get out. You can see they are thriving. They look so good. They're growing nicely. The kale is looking good, no issues there. Let's keep walking on down and let's go take a look at the collard greens. Okay, those are cabbages right there in the middle. They seem to be doing pretty well. Let's take a look. They're just now curling on the inside and forming a head. This collard green is pretty eaten up right here, but all of the rest of these look good. These leaves and stuff look good. They are definitely ready to be harvested for sure. I'm just waiting because I know they'll taste better once it gets cold. Okay, these are all our collard greens for the most part. And I would say 85% of them probably look good. I see some hole damage like right in here. This particular plant. And at this point, y'all can have this one. Y'all just leave everything else alone. This one is pretty eaten up like right here in the middle, but all of this stuff right here looks good. And these are ready to be harvested like right now today. They are ready. But I'm not ready. I'm not ready. So all of this here is good, looking good, ready to be harvested. Right here are cabbages. I'll bring you closer. Those look good. So I have plenty of things that could be harvested. I'm not ready to harvest it now, more so than me going out of town tomorrow. But really, when it comes to the collard greens, I want them to have that first cold, sustained temperature. They're going to taste better. It's the difference between good and great. If I just had to have some collards today and needed some food, could I harvest them? Yes. Would they be good? Yes. They're going to be better, though. And that's how it is when it comes to the fall and winter veggies. Your carrots are going to be sweeter. Your kale's going to be sweeter. Your collard greens and stuff will be sweeter. And just taste better once they have that nip of cold. I don't know why, but that's the way it happens. So today, I'm just not ready to harvest them. So I'm going to give it, because I looked at the 10-day forecast and it said it's coming, I'm going to give it one more week. Now, hopefully it won't bite me in the butt, right? And I think I will go ahead and cover this stuff. Maybe not today, but I'll probably cover it when I get back, because that's when it will be starting to get cold and it'll be good for it to be covered anyway. Oh, I see that I have some broccoli growing. Let me show you this. Y'all, I have some broccoli. Now, I am going to go get that. Now, I know I'm contradicting, but I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to go ahead and pick this broccoli right here. That's the only one that I really see. Let me back you out. The rest of them are kind of forming. So that there's nothing in that one. But then you see a little small one forming there. This is by far the one that's the most advanced, I would say, is this one right here. And it's still kind of compact, but I want to get this before it flowers. So I'm actually going to take that, and I'm going to actually use that tonight for dinner. That one is a little small one forming. This is one that's forming. Okay. These were not here 2 weeks ago. It has a little bit of a yellowish tint. I'm assuming it'll get more green. So I got some definitely forming, but that one is the one that's the most furthest ahead for sure. There's another one. Now, the reason why I'm going to go ahead and get that broccoli right there is because that is the one that's the most formed. And I have had no success in 4 years of growing broccoli, especially any to take in the house and actually freeze and put in my freezer. I've gotten like maybe that right there enough for like one meal, and that's it. Not 2 meals, not 3 meals, one. And one of the things that has happened is I have waited too long to get, like, I'll see it, I'm like, oh, okay, I'm gonna get it in 2 or 3 days, and then when I come back in 2 or 3 days, it's been eaten by insects, and it's not any good anymore. Or last year we had the vole issue that took out all of my broccoli, and I really didn't have enough time for me to do broccoli again and get a harvest out of it. So for whatever reason, over the last 3 years, I have not been successful at growing broccoli, but because I love it so much and I buy it, I keep on trying it. And so I'm going to take that as a win. I'm about to get me something and chop that off. I'm actually making Alfredo tonight. And I always use broccoli kind of as a side or in with the Alfredo. So that's enough for one serving, and so that one serving is going to be used tonight, because I'm not going to come out here in 3 or 4 days and have missed the opportunity. So because it's ready and it's still compact, I'm going to go ahead and get it before it starts to loosen up, because what will happen is if it gets too hot out here, they will start to bolt, and you'll see that the head will start to loosen up and you'll get yellow flowers in your broccoli, meaning that it's going to seed. Now, if you're new to gardening, you don't know what I mean when I keep saying bolting and going to seed. You have to think about things start as a seed and it goes back to a seed. So once the plant feels like, hey, my time is up, I don't need to grow anymore. And it may feel that way because you're not harvested enough, the temperature changes, whatever the reason, it will go to seed. It will send up a flower, meaning that we're going to go back and form seeds, and we're done with producing the fruit. And so it's too early. I don't want it to do that yet. I can't control the temperature, but I can control me picking it, which I'm going to pick that. Okay, so I'll come back and get that. Let me show you the rest of the stuff that's in this row. Okay, I have more Brussels sprouts at the top of this row that are looking good, which is great. And then let's pop over here to this second row. I have more cabbages, and they are looking good. No issues there. Those look really, really good. And then I have some more collard greens here that are looking good. And then remember, we planted these a couple of weeks ago. They're already taken off as well, looking good. Let me show you this herb bed. This is the circular metal raised bed. That's cilantro that's growing nicely. Look at my sage. This is sage that we started and grew over the summer, but it is doing actually much better in this bed, and now that the temperatures have died back. I find that sage, for me, tends to do better in the winter than it does in the summer, but it is looking so good. Remember, it wasn't that bad over here, and we took it from there to here, and it's doing well. That's more sage there. You can see it looks good. And then this is oregano that looks good as well, that we've already harvested a couple of times. And the sage, we can even harvest more. So again, we can have sage for Thanksgiving because you put sage in your dressing. And then these are some snapdragons that we planted from seed. They're going to be so pretty when it comes to the spring. And then of course our comfrey is still doing well. Our eucalyptus is doing well. And stay tuned, because we're going to actually harvest a lot of this eucalyptus, and we're going to be doing a project with it in the next couple of weeks that I'm going to show you that I think that you will enjoy. Okay, we're going to harvest our broccoli. Look at that. It's not a lot, but it's mine. I grew it, and I'm going to use it. So look at this. My first broccoli, because the one that I had before was not even this much. It was like a couple of sprigs, and I took it in the house, and I'm like, I'm going to do some of these couple of sprigs, and it tasted good, those couple of sprigs, but this is more than a sprig. This is like a mini head of broccoli, but so glad. So glad, and I'm praying that I get many more heads. Now the thing with the broccoli is it will continue to put off side shoots. It won't put on another head of broccoli, but it'll get little side shoots that'll be enough for like just snacking purposes, or if you have a lot of side shoots from all of your plants, you may be able to make a meal out of it. So I'm going to keep the plant in the ground and see if it'll develop some side shoots. But y'all, I'm proud of my broccoli, but this is the only thing I'm harvesting. I'm not harvesting nothing else because everything else is gonna wait until it gets cold. I'm just not ready yet, but I'm proud of my broccoli. Okay guys, I have my broccoli, I have my lavender cuttings. I'm gonna take those in the house. I have some soil. I think I'm gonna try propagating the lavender with soil and with water and see which one does its thing, and I'll keep you guys posted. If it does well, then I'll show you how to do it. If it doesn't, then we'll keep learning. We'll figure out how to do it. Anyway, just an experiment, just something I'm playing around with. Nothing major, but I hope that you are enjoying your gardens. Thank you for joining me on a tour today of the garden in almost mid to late November and how things are going. Hopefully it's going to get cold in the next week or so, and maybe one of the next videos that you will see will be a big harvesting video of all of the things that we have ready to harvest. But remember, until next time, gardening is a journey. Let's grow together. I'll see you next time, friend.